Borderlands 4 is already shaping up to have one of the wildest loot pools we've ever seen, and the legendary weapons are front and center. From high-tech prototypes to brutal, over-the-top design, Gearbox is making sure every legendary feel unique. What's up guys, my name is Fervor, welcome back to the channel. Today we're breaking down the legendary weapons I'm most excited about in Borderlands 4, the ones that really stand out and set the tone for what loot chasers can expect when the game finally launches. Just make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on the many upcoming build videos for Borderlands 4 and many others we have in the work. And with that said, let's begin. Alright, before we dive right on in, down in the description there will be a link that will show you all the confirmed legendaries that we have so far. It was created by someone that just really cares about the game, so go check it out if you want to see all the different legendaries, as we're going to only cover a handful of them. So the first assault rifle that we're looking at is the Lucian's Flank, and what this does is it every crit hit refills up to 2 ammo to the gun magazine, and its alternate fire enables a secondary barrel, increasing fire rate. Now, why does this stand out to me specifically? Well, if you're a headhunter, which I'm sure a lot of you are, you're going to be able to maintain damn near perfect ammo. As long as you're at least 50% headshot accurate, you should be able to maintain 100% ammo, and this means that DPS can be pretty damn effective if you're good at shooting those weak points or headshots specifically. So yeah, this is one that stands out. A lot of damage. There's going to be a ton of synergies. If there's ammo synergies, there's going to be ones that actually really goes really well with this, especially if it's like a consumption based thing that you can do to really enable it. It can really go really well. So really good one, high damage already, pretty interesting one. The next one is the Cold Shoulder, and what this does is says iced out, you've been smooching with everybody. Now that seems like a Moxie reference. I don't play Borderlands 2 and I'm relatively new to the Borderlands series, all things considered. I mean, I know of the series, but I don't really like play anyway. It's an ice effect. Iced out give me the impression that this is going to be like some type of huge ice explosion. I like things that blow up, especially when it's ice, because ice slow things down and it makes it easier for it to kill them, and I think that's a really cool effect that I really like. I like ice in games. Moving over to pistols, we have one called Kinky Roach, and this one does shoot eggs that hatch flying roaches when attached to flesh, living or dead, so you can shoot at bodies or you can shoot at things that are alive, and then this will spawn roaches. Now why this stands out to me is Summoner. One thing that is really cool about Borderlands, and I'm probably going to say a lot of in this video, is they're putting an extreme amount of effort into making interesting affixes, like really interesting affixes, and this one is really stand out because Vex has a lot of synergies with summons, and who knows, this could be in addition to other weapons that can actually generate summons that can be really powerful. Now imagine you have like a limit of like, I don't know, 3 or 4 that you can summon some roaches, whatever her base summons are, and then she swapped to another weapon, she has some summons, maybe her shield does some summons when she's over shield, who knows, whatever the case is. This looks like a real shot at a pure summoner build, so I think that's really cool to me. That stands out really heavy to me, and I'm a big fan of that. So summoner enabling builds is really cool. Now the next pistol we're going to be looking at is called Zipper. This one stands out to me very much because of what the effect is, which is Prison Rules. Gain 75% crit damage and 75% damage when hitting a target in the back. Now this is obviously going to be really good if you have some way of going stealth, getting behind enemies really fast, making enemies not notice you. This stands out really drastically, and whenever you hit weak points and you're behind them, 75% increased damage. It looks like a pistol. I don't know if it's going to be like a deagle, but it seems like a deagle kind of like setup if I had to guess based on the numbers that we're seeing. Maybe it's closer to like a 45 or something, but nonetheless, this is going to deliver some insane damage if you can get behind the target and you hit weak points. This is crazy to me, so big fan of this. Can see a lot of builds around it. Moving on to SMGs, we have quite a few here that are really cool, but one that stands out to me specifically is called Prism Farming. What this does is hitting enemies deal 13 damage to you and grants a stack of cruelty, which on kill restores 6 overshield per stack of cruelty for a max of 30 stacks. Now this one is super cool to me because in a lot of games you almost never get anything that hurts yourself, and to me this is a build enabling type effect. To what degree that is, that's yet to be seen because we haven't played, but when you have a gun that can like just straight up say, hey, here, you're going to deal damage to yourself. That opens up possibilities for low life builds. That open up possibilities for like reflect in area of effects. Like if you take damage, you reflect damage in an AoE. Like that's very common. It procs effects on you that can trigger other effects. Like this is such a effect enabling type weapon that's really cool. Now it's an SMG, which is a little annoying, at least to me, but nonetheless really cool. And this kind of segues to the next one, which is Oh My God. And this one, when energy shield is active, it grants you 50% damage to consume the shield's energy instead of ammo. And when overshield is also active, energy shield will not deplete. That in itself sounds extremely busted to me, just having literally unlimited ammo as long as you have energy shield. Now I'm not sure if it's a flat energy shield drain or if it's like a percent energy shield drain. Irregardless, in Borderlands 3 I was able to maintain some insane energy shield numbers. So with a gun like this that will not only drain energy shield, but also it will take it from your overshield first, meaning your energy shield stay sustained. This means you're really putting a lot of effort into making sure that overshield is actually relevant to the game. You're also going to get 50% damage as well as long as you're doing this, and this should be just a flat damage increase so that even early builds, in my opinion, can take advantage of to some degree. You may be a little bit more susceptible to death, especially if you are not very careful with your shield, but nonetheless still really cool. Again, the downside to me is that it is a SMG, but otherwise still a very cool SMG. The SMGs seem very powerful in this game and really cool. Next we have the prescription only Omnivore Husky Friend. And this one's interesting because it has alt fire that has Husky auto turret. Now I don't know how auto turrets work in Borderlands 3, if there are. I don't recall ever using it. I only played one character, so maybe someone does it. But if this weapon can be thrown down for auto turret and then you get another gun and then you can keep putting them down, this could be insane, especially with the ricochet that it has. For example, on this one, crit hits will ricochet projectiles. That could be insane if you could keep throwing down a bunch of auto turrets and then just have them ricochet. You put this in a room, a tight room, and you just have a bunch of turrets just shooting shotgun pellets all around the place. It could get really dangerous. Again, I don't know how the auto turret feature works, so if you want to leave me a comment down below how that works, that would be really dope. But nonetheless, possibilities are opening up for this weapon, so it looks really dope. Next we have Ordinance, and I know we skipped over snipers because I didn't really see anything that stood out to me, but one thing that stands out to me is the fully loaded slippery. And what this does is it has swordfish and it does deal melee damage. That is such a great affix for like a couple of reasons. The main one for me as a player coming into Borderlands 4 who have certain expectations based on community feedback and just like how people have always perceived Borderlands 3 and now 4, I don't see development teams make things like this in other games. And this says to me, from like a player perspective, the team is thinking about things outside of just the basics. Like, yeah, every other Borderlands I play, when I didn't play around grenades, my grenade felt like it was worthless. Now if I'm playing Amon, which I will be maining, Amon is going to be very melee focused. He's probably going to have some melee scaling, and having a weapon that scales from your melee means that as a Amon character who's playing melee, I can actually throw my grenade and feel like I'm not wasting my time because I didn't have any form of scaling on the grenade. Now it has scaling on this grenade, which is pretty damn good. So to me, I'm a big fan of this, not from the effect, but from the thought process that the devs are thinking about it, and that's really big in my opinion. Now for our last ordinance, we have Collateral Destructo Disco. Now I am a Dragon Ball Z fan, and anyone see that name, like, I mean, you have to think, I don't even think the worms are awake yet. This has groove on it. I'm not exactly sure what groove is, but if anyone is familiar with Destructo Disc, this was good for a very long time until the Cell Saga, and this would slice everyone in half. And if I had to make a guess on something that can be thrown, we could be Krillin, except for hopefully not as bad, relatively speaking. Anyway, nonetheless, this is really cool. I hope that they actually build something around the actual Destructo Disc. That would be really cool, because I do want to throw around Destructo Disc and like cut everything in half. That'd be dope. Moving over to RepKits. RepKits, for anyone who's newer to the game, what they do is essentially they like replace heal orbs. This one has pulse meter on it, pulsol meter rather, and passively gain health over time, increasing in rate when your health is low. On use, increase move speed by 40%. That's whatever, but the pulsal meter is really cool for me as a player because, one, I really love when health regenerates quickly. Health regeneration builds really open up possibilities, especially when you're not reliant on shielding or reliant on some form of effect. If you can rely on your HP passively regenerating over time, that's a lot of like synergies you can get. Whenever you're healing, you deal some type of damage in an AoE or things like that. That really procs like element stuff. But in addition, when health is low, you actually generate more healing. And to me, that means you're going to have some low life shenanigans that you could possibly play around where your health is super low and your healing is just so overwhelming. Like, let's say your max health pool is like 100,000 and low is like, I don't know, like 10,000. You have 10,000 HP, that's probably going to just like go up super fast, and you can get some synergies and feel very defensive still, and that's really, really cool. So for me, this is a cool rep kit. I'm hoping to see more in the next coming days, what they can bring to the table, but really cool so far. Now, coming over to our shields, we have our first energy shield that stands out, and that is the extra medium. And what this does is it explodes on shield fill and shield empty, dealing 1,121 damage. So yeah, Borderlands 3 has a lot of shield shenanigans where you can empty your shield and get extra damage and fill shields, and this is going to play into that, especially if you can find a way to consistently lose and gain shielding. That could be extremely powerful in my opinion. So that's really cool. I think that opens up the possibility of passive AoE damage that you can deal from not even having to interact with fighting, and that's why I really like those passive AoE explosions that could just absolutely decimate things. Taking another look at another energy shield, trigger happy emotionalist Cinder Shelly, I think that's what it says. When damaged, grant a stack of resolve, which reduces damage taken by 2% per stack for up to 25 stacks. When the shield breaks, release a nova dealing 183 damage, with each stack of resolve increasing the damage by 20%. And this is what I was talking about when it comes to things hitting you yourself when you're shooting at things. You could, in theory, just proc this effect on your own simply by shooting at things, especially if you don't care about your energy shield, like just having like low energy shield, for example, and stacking, like you have enough to make it so that resolve fully stacks up. You have relatively low energy shield, and you just deal damage to yourself. Boom, you can keep proccing this effect and refilling it super fast, proccing, refilling, and this again can become one of those more passive AoE damage dealing skills. Of course, you have to like cook with it a little bit, but again, this is another example of things that really work well with that weapon we talked about a second ago. And in reference to the rep kit we talked about a second ago, Timekeeper's new shield is not the most like insane thing, but when equipped, increase your max HP and grants you HP regen per second and reduce damage taken. This is another one of those examples of stacking HP regeneration for defense. You'll have to find a way to make offense out of this, but it's still really, really cool. And then for the last one, we need to look at a armor segment one called Heavyweight. Bare Knuckles on melee hit. Gasuma armor segment to grant 100% melee damage when armor damage is empty. Grant when armor shield is empty, grant 50% melee damage. So this says a lot. This says I want to be able to regenerate armor segments consistently in between every single hit so that I get 100% more damage. So that's really, really big. The other thing is, if you don't want to play around regenerating armor rapidly, you could in theory play around the 50% more melee damage where you just have no armor at all and you just run around, which again, for the health thing we talked about, this could work really well because you don't care about health regeneration. You don't care about shielding because you have regeneration, and you just have 50% melee damage passively from walking around. Very, very cool. The shields have been very interesting, and again, those three stand out to me specifically. And then lastly, let's talk about the class mods. We have Chilling Elementalist for Amon. Whenever an affinity skill gains a stack, all unlocked affinity skills gain a stack as well, and for each affinity from all skills, Amon gain increased movement speed, and this comes with the affix of skill damage as well as status effect damage. This is a lot here. So first off, you're going to get insane MS. You're a melee focused character. Move speed, being able to get close to the opponent, is super important, and that makes this very, very desirable as a thing for anyone who's playing melee, because you can get into their face and actually deal damage to them. And the second thing is, because of this effect, is going to give you more element skill scaling, since you're going to get stacks from it. And this means that your damage is going to ramp while your move speed ramp, and you're going to have a lot of damage in addition to move speed, which is actually really valuable again for a melee focused character. So this looks really promising. I really want to cook with him on since he's going to be my main, but big fan of that. And then finally, electric avatar for Miss Vex. Vex and her minions deals increased damage for each active attunement and gain damage reduction against those elemental types she's attuned to. So again, another dual scaling defense offense scaling type ability that scales one thing and give you both effects, which is powerful. Her minions will get stronger, she'll get stronger, and then she'll get more as she get more attunement, she'll be more defensive in the same vein. So very powerful. And there you have it. That's my breakdown of Borderlands 4 Legendary that I'm most interested in so far. Of course, there are plenty more to discover, and if past games are any indication, the full Legendary loot pool is going to be absolutely massive. I'll keep a close eye on every single reveal, update, and gameplay drop, so if you don't want to miss out on the latest Borderlands 4 coverage, make sure you stick around. Let me know down in the comment which Legendary has caught your eye or you're most interested in, or which one you're hoping to make a return. My name is Fervor. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next Borderlands 4 video very soon.